Hello students, welcome to our chemistry class. Today, we're going to learn about empirical and molecular formulas. Let's divine. Introduction to empirical and molecular formulas. Chemical formulas represent the atoms of each element in a compound. There are two important types of formulas in chemistry: empirical formula and molecular formula. Empirical formula. The empirical formula of a compound gives the simplest ratio of the number of different atoms present. 1. It represents only the atomic ratio of the various elements present in its molecule. For example, the empirical formula for glucose is H2O. Molecular formula. The molecular formula of a compound is the chemical formula which represents the true formula of its molecules. It expresses the actual number of atoms of various elements present in one molecule of the compound. For example, the molecular formula for glucose is C6H12O6. Difference between empirical and molecular formulas. Now, let's understand the difference between these two types of formulas. The molecular formula and the empirical formula are two different ways of expressing the composition of a compound. A molecular formula shows the exact number of atoms of each element in a molecule. For example, the molecular formula for glucose is C6H12O6, which means there are 6 carbon atoms, 12 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen atoms in a molecule of glucose. An empirical formula, on the other hand, shows the simplest whole number ratio of atoms of each element in a compound. It doesn't provide the actual number of atoms in a molecule, but rather the ratio of the number of atoms. For example, the empirical formula for glucose is H2O, which means for every carbon atom, there are 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. In summary, while a molecular formula gives you the actual number of atoms of each element in a molecule, an empirical formula gives you the simplest ratio of these atoms. For some molecules like water H2O, the molecular and empirical formulas are the same. Sometimes, the empirical formula and molecular formula can be the same if the formula cannot be simplified further. That's all for today's lesson. I hope you now have a better understanding of empirical and molecular formulas. Keep studying, keep exploring, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Remember, understanding these concepts is crucial as they form the basis for many other topics in chemistry. Happy studying!